Let's say you're doing research and you're asked to present your findings at a conference, or you need funding for a new project and need to explain your work to a board of grant managers, or you need to update your PI on the work you're currently doing, or you're asked to talk about your research to a group of students. In all of these situations, you need to clearly communicate what you're working on to someone else. Research projects can get pretty complex, so you might ask yourself, how do I present research? How do I zoom out and clearly explain what I'm doing to someone who wasn't in the lab with me? This might seem like a daunting task at first, but luckily, there's a generally agreed upon structure for most research talks. This can be visually represented in the form of an hourglass. Start by talking about the broadest background for your research. What subject are you studying? What motivates you? What is the current state of the art in your field? Where are the gaps? Then zoom in and get specific. What exactly are you studying? What are your hypotheses? What experiments are you running, and what did you find from them? Then zoom back out and put it all into context. What are the broader implications of your research? Why is it important to your field? What does it mean for the rest of the world? One of the most important things you need to know going into your presentation is your audience. Although you will likely be making the same key points in any presentation, the way you communicate them will be different in each situation. Generally, the most important criterion for determining how to present to your audience is their depth of knowledge in your specific topic. For an audience with less niche knowledge, you really want to focus on the broad implications of your research, why you're doing it, and the key takeaways. In these situations, you need to be sure that you're giving all the necessary background on the most important scientific concepts at play, because your audience might not be familiar with all the laws governing your research. For a more knowledgeable audience in your field, you can dive into the technical details of your specific project and skip a lot of the background. These audiences will likely know all of the relevant theory and understand why your work is important, meaning you can jump into the most technical parts of your work. For example, at a research conference in your field, there are likely a lot of people who are very interested in your work and knowledgeable about the topics you study. They might be studying different topics within your field, but they likely still have a basic understanding of your area of interest. Here, you can give a bit of background and motivation, and then spend a lot of time on the specific findings of your research and the implications. This group of people will want to know what discoveries you are contributing to the field you are all in. If you're presenting to a board of grant managers, they might not know the exact details of your project. Here, you want to focus on why your project matters. What is the impact, and why does it deserve to be studied? The audience wants to know what makes your project important, so you want to focus on the last part of the talk concerning the implications of your research. If you're giving a weekly update to your lab group, this will be the situation in which your audience has the most specific knowledge. In a situation like this, you can skip most of the background information and talk about your findings almost immediately. This audience wants to know about your most recent progress and your exact understanding of the topic, so you can be the most specific here. If you're talking to a class of students or giving a lecture, your audience probably has some basic science knowledge and a high level of interest without any specific understanding of your field. Here, you want to give adequate background and motivational information and drive home the importance of your findings. This audience is likely considering research and might want to know more about what you study, so you can emphasize why you study your topic and your interests. Although there is no hard and fast rule for which slide should exist in every presentation, there is a commonly found structure like this. A good talk will start with an introduction and the motivation behind your research, and then move on to a discussion of the necessary background and address the specific problem you are seeking to address. In the middle, you should discuss the methods you used, your experimental design, and any results you obtained. It is important to emphasize the impact of your work at the end and point to future research directions that your findings lead to. At the end of your talk, you should always acknowledge any support your work received and give time for questions. And of course, in order to give the best talk, you want to practice, practice, practice. You can give the talk to your family or friends or record yourself to feel confident going into your presentation. Hopefully, you're better prepared to communicate your work with others. Good luck!